a.m. on the East Coast. This is Blowing for Britain, episode 203. Hello, Peter.
Morning.
And good morning, John.
Good morning, Stephen and Peter.
Right, and welcome to everybody who's watching live. If you're catching the replay, during the next 60 minutes, you'll hear diverse opinions about what's happening in the UK at the moment. So we'll discuss what's happened during the last week. And there are major things that have happened. So we're going to start off with, we'll start off with welcome to the show. And Blabbing for Britain, episode 203. And our first topic today is Prince Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually see the interview you did over the weekend, Peter?
No, but Sheila watched it, and for what I've seen, I think it was a bit cringeworthy from what I heard. I couldn't sit and watch it.
Yeah, his game plan was to try and brush it under the carpet, and it was just totally wrong. There was no expression of feelings for the victims,
No.
and the whole tone was totally wrong. John?
Well, what about it? The Queen's brushed him under the carpet now, hasn't she? As she's removed him from royal duties. I didn't watch it. I wasn't interested, and okay, I must express, sorrow for people who've been victims, but it didn't bother me at all. I'm not really bothered about Prince Andrew.
Well, I don't know. Is any of you watching the Netflix series The Crown?
I might have got part of it. Carry on. Yeah.
Well, Sheila and I are thoroughly enthralled with it, about the Queen's life and the royals, etc. The royals are in a catch-22. They've had their trials and tribulations, and they're living people the same as us. And it's very, very difficult for them. They're damned if they do, and they're damned if they don't. So it's a very, very... Now, people like Prince Andrew, not much to do really in life, so get bored with life. But one of the problems in Britain, right? 16 is the legal age of consent. Now, I believe these girls over there, I think they were 17, So there's a wee bit of a, no, if it was 14 and 13 and 12 and round about that, so I think different laws in different countries, you see. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's 18 in America.
Oh, if it's 18. Well, if it's 18 in America, you've broken the law.
I can't hear a thing. Right.
I think it varies state by state, actually.
Does
Right.
that?
Okay. The age of consent, yeah.
Right, okay.
Drinking laws differ state by state.
Okay. So if he's broken the law in that state, he'll be classed as a kiddie fiddler.
Yes, yeah. I'm child sex offender, I think, is the simplest description. Yeah, it just went totally wrong. He was trying to do a PR exercise about it over the weekend. That backfired. Companies in the UK and around the world decided that he could not be their spokesman in any way, shape or form, and started to withdraw backing for projects he was involved in. Yeah. And yesterday, they apparently had a chat with the Queen, and the Queen said, right, okay, it's probably better if you step down from your duties, which he did, which means stepping down from receiving funds from the Queen as well, because he took over when Prince Philip retired from public activity. He's the one that was designated to go and fulfill Prince Philip's visits. He is in an untenable situation, really. I mean, he gave a written statement yesterday, which was more along the lines of what he should have done at the weekend, which is empathy and regret and
However, I was reading an article yesterday. They're now looking to where he got all his money. He's going about with a 12 grand watch on. He's got a place, a chalet in Switzerland at X amount, and other places. Where did he get that sort of money? That's what they're asking now.
Well, it's going to. I mean, we know that if somebody falls foul of the press, then the press will go after them, and we're not going to hear the end of this for quite a while.
Now can you see why our Queen has stayed in as long as possible? She's done a great job. She really has, and she's saying, I'm not letting them get hold of this. I don't want to see them in charge. They'll not get hold of it until I'm gone. You know? Do you know, she might even outlive Charles.
It's true. I mean, Charles is next in line. It has been said yesterday again that he would actually slim the royal family down.
That's right.
Not by doing anything naughty, but by saying, right, okay, that particular side of the family is no longer involved in public life and doesn't get money from the public purse.
Yeah. So, well, he's got his Navy pension.
Peter, I don't think the Queen continued to reign is any way, shape, or form anything to do with the behaviour of people like this. She declared just after she was crowned that she would reign until she died, the same as.
Yeah, she actually said that. She's done a good job, but the Crown actually give us a lot more insider knowledge, obviously knowledge that they didn't want us to know as well. But no, I think the Prince Andrew, I think he's finished as far as doing public duties. He'll just slip away. He maybe slip away to some island like his late grandfather, the king, and go away with somebody and live in France or something.
Yeah. I mean, he did serve, didn't he?
Yes, he did. That's one thing he done. He went up there and risked his life in the Falklands. He was actually a decoy pilot. He went up in the helicopter as a decoy to make himself a target away from the destroyers and things. That was his job. Yeah. Okay. But it doesn't matter because I had friends who've served for years and one of them told him to be a child molester.
Yeah.
Let's move on for this subject.
We're moving on now. Sorry, John.
He said he's not accused of being a child molester. It's his friend was the child molester.
Oh yeah,
His mistake was to see him after he was.
Yeah. But he's all
right.
I've just been watching an interview this morning on it just happened to come up on the channel. I'm looking at it, and one of the girls, what happened with her, and you know who's went missing? Maxwell's daughter. Nobody knows where she is.
Mm-hmm.
She's done a runner. Big runner.
If you are watching this live, and thank you if you are, please do make a comment and we'll feature it on screen. And if you have any questions about anything that's happening in the UK at the moment, we probably don't have an answer, but we can busk it. Right, okay, let's go on then. Move on from Prince Andrew. Right, Labour Party is set to launch its manifesto today. And the thing that gets me is that there's so many leaks about the manifestos before they actually arrive that we know most of what's in there.
Yeah, but isn't that they consider that we need spoon feeding rather than it all arriving in one dollop?
Yeah. What's been leaked so far?
Leaks, aren't
they? I'm saying, what's been leaked so far?
They're going to build. Just a minute. This is. I don't know whether I've actually got the title or not. They're going to build 100,000 council houses.
They say they're going to build.
We do know, yeah, I agree, Peter, that what they say in the manifesto and what actually happens are two different things. But they have said that they will build 100,000 council homes.
Did they say where?
The only problem with that is that in the last year we've built 2,500. So it's a big disparity between what's actually going on at the moment and what they plan to do.
I'm going to make a declaration, DAs, and you're probably going to think, wow, for the first time ever, I don't think I'm going to vote. I don't think there's a party I can trust. Why should they get my vote? Whoever gets in, I'll just do what I'm told to do, like a loyal servant to my puppet masters.
Comment from Kelly, just to show that we're actually live and watching, listening, and multitasking. Morning, okay. Kelly. Yeah, I will vote for the simple reason that we can vote. We do have the ability to vote, and I shall exercise that. And as you know, I'll probably vote Lib Dem, which is logical considering I'm actually campaigning for them. House markers dropped, they won't build any. So Kevin thinks it's an empty promise before they start. And I'm skeptical. This is a Labour Party on 100,000 houses.
Yeah.
And Kevin again, comments are coming through thick and fast. Right, okay.
No, it's not compulsory.
It is in Australia, and maybe
it is in Australia.
Maybe everybody vote here.
Yeah. But listen. The way the Conservatives are just now, we're more or less. I don't like that deal. The second, the SNP, I don't want. I'm not voting for them. I'm certainly not voting to be a communist to come during the night and knock on my door and take me away to a gulag. I'm not voting for that. I don't vote for Liberals because they're undemocratic now. So who can I vote for?
Yep.
Nobody respects my vote now.
Well, is there not a raving loony monster party candidate in your area? Then?
No, we don't have one of them. We've got a Brexit party. We've got a member there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's about the same level, isn't it? Raving loony monster.
In fact, the Brexit woman, she pulled out, and then somebody else came in.
Mm-hmm.
And they hammered them because he owns a castle and they says, you've not paid your rates.
You couldn't make it up, could you? You couldn't make it up.
And his daughter's one of the actresses in one of that type of films that I don't watch. Forgotten her name. Yeah, some of that Thor type things, with swords and everything. I've forgotten the name of it now. Don't watch it. So that was
I can tell you the result where I live without even, having to think about it. We will be a Conservative hold.
Yeah.
Because the Liberal candidate was put up managed to only get a third of the votes of the previous Liberal candidate.
Well, the Conservative up here said to pull out. They've had to get rid of him because, again, I looked through his Twitter feed and seen anti-Semitic things and other things. So at the last minute, he's gone.
Well, in the advisors, we've got a new Conservative candidate who's been parachuted in. He's one of Boris's helpers, and he's been brought into the constituency. And they had a hustings the other night, and it came across quite openly. He hasn't a clue about devices at all. And two local candidates, Labour and Lib Dem, who both live here, performed far better than he did. But on the day, John says there's a big Conservative majority in the constituency. There's no tactical voting, says vote Lib Dem. Lib Dems were in third place last time. We've got 3 weeks to decide what to do.
Hey, Evan, you might have you heard of the English Democrats?
I have now, Peter. Explain more.
See, this is things I see that you do. As a guy, Robin Tilbrook, who's a barrister or something like that. And the English Democrats have been going since 2012, right?
Okay.
And they want an English Parliament, an English one, because the Scots have got one, the Welsh have got, and the Northern Irish.
Okay.
So they're putting up candidates. Now, interestingly, have you ever heard of a woman called Based Amy?
No.
Right. Well, see, this is the news you don't get here because they don't put it out there. So Based Amy, and I've forgotten her name, she was the woman, she harassed Anna Soubry.
Okay.
And Anna Soubry got her done for harassment, and it was in court yesterday. And the judges found her guilty of harassment. And she's going to wait and get sentenced, and it could be 12 days, but they're fighting it. But here's the funny thing. She actually is now the English Democrat parliamentary candidate for Strawberry, and that's for Anna Soubry's constituency that she's fighting. But the laugh of it is, this woman, who's the candidate, is not allowed in Strawberry.
Why not?
The judges banned her.
Oh.
And this was before. She goes, you're not allowed near Anna Soubry, so what I'm doing is I'm banning you from Strawberry, right? But then she's now been put forward just before the case. They put her up as the parliamentary candidate. You can look all this up, and she's now going to wait to fight her sentence. But in the meantime, I'm not for it right. Okay, so what happened was, so in the meantime, she's actually fighting the vote, but she's not allowed into the constituency. Quite interesting.
So she can't actually campaign then?
She can campaign, but she's not allowed to go into the constituency to do it. So,
right, okay. Yeah.
She's doing constituencies on the border, and the English Democrats are going to go up with leaflets and things and campaign, but not her.
Right. We've got 3 weeks to go. Lib Dem manifesto came out yesterday. I've got a copy of it. I'm reading it. 96 pages long of what they plan to do. Labour manifesto is due out today. I think Conservatives tomorrow. Okay. Right. Let's go on to the next topic, which may or not be political.
What a shame.
Okay. Let's just switch tack for a minute. So, John.
Well, I mean, I've never been a Spurs fan, but it's actually when I was younger, the only other place I'd been to watch football was White Hart Lane when I was in London on a course. And the two blokes who were also with me took me to White Hart Lane, and I was only young. I was only 18. No, sorry, 19. Anyway, but have you heard the latest of why they fell out?
No, carry on.
Okay, the latest is that Pochettino wanted cameras around the training pitch. Those post the match, they couldn't that they could go through and rerun and look at all the training. He was denied those. The cost was £80,000. He offered to pay for them himself.
Wow.
He was still denied permission to put them in. He then, only a few days later, has about £80,000 worth of cameras put in his office by Amazon because they're making a fly on the wall flick about Tottenham Hotspur. So apparently that was the initial start of the final buster.
Right. This is the news that Jose Mourinho, the chosen one, after spending time with Chelsea and with Manchester United, has now joined Tottenham Hotspur. I remember back in the day, Burnley versus Spurs used to be a big match. Whenever they came to Turf Moor, that was the match of the season. We're going back a bit now, of course. But Burnley is still in the Premiership. Have I mentioned that recently? No, I haven't. But yeah, I mean, he obviously has the ability to galvanise any team for a period of time. The only problem he's got with Spurs is that, as John just intimated, they've no money. And he won't have any money to spend in the January transfer window. So he's got to work with the players that are there at the moment, who he has said are a wonderful bunch of lads. So interesting times. And we look forward to watching Tottenham go. Well, they're in 14th at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
The only way is up. They might even catch Burnley up. Who knows?
The thing is, though, that 3 of the players he's inherited are all out of contract at the end of the season, and 3 of them Pochettino's trying to get rid of for the last 2 years. So, but he hasn't got rid of them because he couldn't buy anyone else to take their place.
Indeed.
And he isn't called the chosen one anymore, is he? He's the special one now.
The special one, okay.
Some breaking news.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Breaking news. Alex Salmond has appeared in court, charged with carrying out a series of sexual offences against 10 women while serving as Scotland's First Minister.
Sad news.
He's faced a total of 14 charges of what's happened. You know, don't you think media? Have you looked up Anna Brees yet?
No, I'm talking. No, I haven't.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
That was just breaking news. I'll come back to it.
No. Alex,
I'm saying,
as we all know,
the news is changing. News is changing. CNN's figures have dropped dramatically. The mainstream, even I was speaking to a guy I know, even the likes of the Sun, their papers are falling, and a lot of people. And for this woman Anna Brees, if you can't get your story over, when the phone at ITN and BBC and they say, oh yeah, and they know about it and they drop it, and it can be hidden for years. And this is why she left the BBC and things like that. She'd had enough of them hiding the truth. Look at John Humphreys, for instance. As soon as he left the BBC, put back. So Anna Brees is now teaching people how to do their own citizen journalism to get their stories across, so it can be seen out in the internet. Yeah, and things on BitChute and stuff like that. Now, what I'm worried about the future, I know how we all chat now. I know that certain media, even if they don't like what you're going to be watching, now the chances are you might get the bullet. So basically, you have to be a nice boy and do what you're told.
Right.
What's your view on that?
I'm going to bring up a comment by our man in Stoke, who is not Stephen Silk. Paul Sheldon is saying, morning all. I would say it's more to do with a dreadful league from the back end of last season and empty trophy cabinet. John, is that a contributing factor too?
Well, I think that's the main factor. I'm just saying that the argument over cameras was the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah. And here, Levy and the woman that runs the Spurs on a day-to-day basis had a big bear of that, and a week later he's gone. So, but they must have been speaking to Mourinho for a while. Yeah. Because you don't get him in 3 days. Yeah.
Football managers and the boards, it's as bad as politics. There's so many knives in the back there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Mind you, I would do it for a week. I just need a week of the money, and that would be me happy. So keep your team.
Yeah. Win, lose, or draw, just take the money. Yeah.
Did you see how much firing Pochettino has cost them? They had to pay him £12.6 million in compensation, and the total for him and his team of people is over 19 million.
What did they do with all that money? What did they do?
I don't know what people do with all that money. It's a mystery.
Well, if you've got 19 million, Jeremy Corbyn's after it because he wants us to be all the same. We'll be getting our maxi tongue uniforms with a red star, and we'll all get the same money. But except if you're a party leader.
I've always wanted one of those maxi tongue round collar suits.
All right. Okay, now we know.
I'm not communist in any way, shape, or form. I'm a liberal Democrat.
I still thought they were like that in China until somebody here put me right. The Chinese man get my legs rubbed. This is his wife. When you go home, if you wear a maxi tongue, you know, they were all wrong about laughing. I don't know when this, but he used to wear it. She says he used to wear it. He's a big tall guy, and with his hat, which I thought was. I've got a backward way of the life of it.
I wouldn't know. Sorry, Peter.
Have the police been chasing you again, Peter?
Sorry?
Have the police been chasing you again, Peter? You know, after the reports of the man in the yellow jacket looking through the windows.
I was walking past the other night, so I'm not going into the hospital, I'll get arrested. because I wouldn't be able to help myself. I would argue with him.
Are you aware of this, Stephen?
No.
The day after Peter walked the dog through the hospital grounds, the police were looking for a man in a bright yellow jacket who was looking through the windows of the hospital.
But this happened the next night. Because I was in the hospital the night before, and I was looking in the window where Sheila works to see if I could see her. The next night I was sitting, the police were up and everything, you know, and it was quite funny because they stopped a guy at Rundle with a camera, and he was giving him a hard time, you know, like Americans. He says, "I've got a right to video and everything and stuff like that." So I says to Poppy, "We're not going in there, we'll get arrested." But I can't do it. Because it's not private ground, it's public ground.
Yep.
And you're allowed to video and you're allowed to photograph from a public area. A lot of people don't know that. Policemen can't stop you filming them. They know that.
I always thought you couldn't.
No, they're a public servant, and if you're in public land, you can photograph everything they're doing as long as you don't interfere with what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, time for an advertisement, and I'll bring this up on screen just to take a slight break, give Peter and John a chance to catch their breath. Next week, Monday through Friday, is 5 days live video training. This year, we're actually broadcasting on YouTube. So that's Monday through to Friday next week, 25th to 29th. That's 10 a.m. Eastern, which is 3 p.m. in the UK and in Portugal. We're joined by a team of good people this is our 6th 5 days live training session. In the BLIFers group yesterday, we asked what people would like to know about, and that's the topics we're going to be using. So this is relevant if you've never broadcast before. If you're an existing broadcaster, then 5 days live will have hints, tips, and tricks for you, helping you to go live on BLIF Studio 2. That's the end of the advertisement. And we're back.
Very good. And that's the way it should be done. And what's the viewing figures been like for YouTube?
We're just getting going, Peter. I mean, we had Pons and I were there the other day. We had about 20 odd views.
Okay.
But basically, YouTube is totally different to Facebook, isn't it? Because nobody knows us. And the thing is, you can take the audience from Facebook to YouTube, but what you're actually looking for is new viewers. Yeah,
right.
And to get new viewers, it means you've got to be, as we know, you've got to be consistent. You've got to go out at regular time, regular day each week, and you've got to put the right SEO tags in.
Yes,
as John will know, so that you can actually get found in Google search and YouTube search, and build a new community over on YouTube.
We could be famous one day. Some TV program could pick us up, and they could have us on at night. The old codgers, like that woman during the day. Could be the old codgers or something like that. Well, you two would be, but not me.
Well, we do put the replay on YouTube at the moment.
Okay.
But we could go live over there as an extra show. I don't think
I
we
know.
want to.
LinkedIn Live is huge at the moment. I'm getting over 200. Are you actually getting to use it then, Kevin? Have you got special permission to use it, Kevin?
He must have. He must be in with the in crowd on LinkedIn.
Yeah. The thing is, one of the guys I know here, he kind of thought, he says, why you go on that Facebook and he says, you're like Boris Johnson, you go in and you. I says, but the thing is, I don't know if you noticed, guys, what do I speak about? I speak about me, and then I direct you to my pest control business in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I direct you to the fact I'm a singer. I'm getting a website, I'm getting filmed and everything on Friday, tomorrow. And so I'm getting things done to to eventually get it pointed to there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think when I'm walking? Give me your views.
I enjoy it. Simply enjoy it. Why?
It's the
Because
same-
I don't know where you're going.
It's the same area all the time. Yeah.
It's just I can actually chill. That's simple
Yeah.
as.
What about you,
enjoy
John? He likes stalking me. He likes to see where I'm going.
I followed you on the map and then printed the map out, didn't I, the
It
other
was
day?
very handy
Yeah.
the other night because what happened is I clicked off my Strava, which means it didn't record at the end, so I couldn't
Right.
show. But yours went up, and it was very good. And so that's my purpose. But I still say, why don't people write things into me? They don't converse.
It was quite interesting when you went into the lady's converted garage where she was a dog groomer's parlour in what was obviously once her garage.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to see the dog that was being worked on.
Yeah.
Strange looking thing, looked like a bear than a dog.
Yeah. And it looked like a little bear. No, that was the girl that actually come on and ever had my biggest view. Remember when I done the talking here?
Yeah.
She got ripped to shreds one day with a dog, doing that. Did you? Yeah, she got ripped to bits. The dog wasn't happy, and it was a bit of kerfuffle with that. But me and my Tourette's, did you see what I said there, John?
I don't remember that. Honesty.
I says, you're live, and this is like because her mum was watching. And I says, hey, you put on weight.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice one.
Usually before doing that. But no, it's what I'm doing. I like going with it. It's just say you keep me going by saying, yeah, keep doing it. And I get people coming and going. The only thing is, when you're on the phone, you don't know if they're coming or going. You see the eye.
Yeah.
Then later on says they're watching. Then you don't know if they're still there. And then when you come off, you see all the faces that have been on watching you. So some people come on for a short while and they go, oh, it's Peter speaking a lot of rubbish again, and they disappear. And then some people stay along with me. But anyway, it's just Peter's ramblings. Okay.
Okay. Right. Okay. Now.
Talking about audiences for lives.
Yeah.
I see that our last Thursday afternoons has now hit 461 views, Steve.
Has it indeed?
It has, yeah. John's got a long memory. Back in the day, 3-4 years ago, we used to get hundreds of views. Now, most shows get less than 100.
Why?
When we started, it was the newness of it.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was interested. And now, I mean, we've been going for 4 years. I mean, we still get a fair number of views. But to get 450 views in this day and age is quite good. In fact, it's very good.
And I think considering the time we're on, most of the population at this time.
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Last
So yeah,
Mhm.
Inspired Bearing video is at 4 p.m. today, or 11 a.m. Eastern, with myself and John. And John's going to get his videos ready, and I'll get them about 1 minute to the show. And I mean, I get all my gear ready on a Wednesday.
Yeah, well, I was working yesterday. I was up in Telford. So.
I've got to tell you, sometimes I pop into a show and I come out. I don't stay long. I know you're doing good. I just can't. I've not got the patience to watch it. You know.
I think again, a very, very large percentage of the views are after the show, and I think that applies to almost every show that anybody.
Well, I was thinking about this, John. Most of the people who actually watch the show create recorded video.
Right.
So they're actually used to watching a recording rather than watching live.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I mean, it's the same, but mainstream TV. When did you last sit and watch BBC One or BBC Two or BBC? I don't. I watch catch up. That's how I watch television.
My most used thing is definitely iPlayer, BBC. Yeah. I don't watch live on BBC at all.
No, neither do I.
I managed last night to catch The Apprentice on iPlayer. And I went and watched last week's because Stephen talked about how having the winners had a game plan. Come on, Stephen, what's the storybook? Yeah,
okay,
they were going to do when they got to Finland, and the other team were useless. Yeah, because they didn't think about it.
Completely useless. Talking of The Apprentice, which we obviously can. Right. What's the point of doing? We just enjoy live video, Kevin. We just enjoy going live. It's the thrill of actually going live and being live and having. We do have a live audience. It's not that we don't, but the majority of people.
And one of them's missing today. Where's Tish?
Tish has got Tish is missing. Steve missing. But the Apprentice is well, we've been waiting 3 weeks for a certain person to get fired, and last night they did. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I don't even watch it.
Did you watch
right?
You're Fired afterwards, Stephen?
No, we've been asked not to give any spoilers because Paul's not watched it yet.
Oh.
Well, You're Fired is different, isn't it?
Well,
it's just it's hosted by a gay comedian.
Is that what he is? He's a comedian.
Well, he thinks he's funny.
All right, that's probably close, yeah.
But last night, Brian Mark, Mr. Parsons, came out and started the show instead of him being as gay and camp as possible. It was actually quite funny.
Do you know, going back to the live, right? Let me tell you, Kevin, one of the reasons I like live is to actually meet these two, because we became friends. We haven't met in the flesh one day. Nearly did, but John ran away and came to Birmingham. And it's actually friendship to me now. It's not often I get a chance to sit and speak like this with a lot of people, you know. The only time I meet people is at BNI now, and we do our bit there, but it's very structured. You do your bit, bam, 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 have your little meal and away. But I look forward to. I actually put my working day around this, as you know.
Me too, Peter. Me too.
To get in touch. So that's the reason I do the live. I just and you've helped me with various things, which I'm very happy about. You know?
We've all helped each other, and that's what it's all about. And Kerry's now saying it wasn't a serious question. Okay, and back to Paul, and Paul is saying yes, different. Okay, right.
Well, topics. There have to be live video for making the recording, because at some stage you've got to be live in some form of way to make a recording. So you might as well broadcast the live.
Yeah. Well, the next thing I'm doing as part of a project is for my pest control is I've now registered as an event organizer, and I'll get CPD points for organising events online.
Yeah.
And as I say, I went down to London last week. Milton Keynes, and the other week, and I'm starting to, in the background, getting lined up for coming on, and I'm also looking at things I speak about. But they say we've got to speak for an hour, which is very difficult, you know. So I'm working on seeing we can get that time down, so we can do toolbox talks and things in it, stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, it's planning, Peter. Plan the hour, rehearse it. Yep. Right. Okay. Let's go over to something that
I'm just wondering about Peter's hour. If we let him get on with it, he would rant on here for an hour, no problem whatsoever.
Structured pest control training.
It has to be structured. And Kevin's saying, bring back Blab. Okay. And Paul is saying, I watched this. It's handy as I work from home on 2 computers, trying to break from the radio. Thank you, Paul. Wonderful. Okay, so topic that we've not touched on today so far, and it's over to Peter, is impeachment.
Oh, yeah. So Nancy, no, I was just listening to before we come on. So Nancy has been giving President Trump shit. Nancy wakes up in the morning and goes, have I got anything for impeachment? No, I don't want tea. What about this impeachment? So what Trump said was, she needs to, instead of impeachment, she needs to be looking at her own state, the mess it's in. And what happened is a bunch of conservatives got together and they said, we're going to go and clean up the areas because the areas are litter, excrement, people living in the streets, rubbish. But guess what? They weren't able to do it because they embarrassed is it Los Angeles? Embarrassed them so much by saying that the TV crews all rushed down to find out what was going on, and they found that the streets were a mess. So before the Conservatives got on, they got it all cleaned up, and that was because he'd mentioned it, and she's more mentioned than him. She's more worried about impeachment than looking after her own area, and it embarrassed her. Trump Towers. Yeah, so
it's more like Trump Stand, isn't it, than Trump Towers in Scotland?
Trump Towers. I believe it's a lot of bleeding money, like. Yeah. I've actually been there for a cup of coffee. I was nearly singing there once at Trump Towers. But the booking was going to get, but it got somebody booked it somewhere else at the last minute. So there you go. Yeah, so impeachment. They're trying to get him, but I've been watching. Have you been watching the impeachment live?
I recently subscribed to Groniad,
right.
And there's quite a bit about the impeachment going on, and you can actually watch live. So yes, I've taken an interest, Peter.
He was trying to manipulate a guy yesterday, but he ran rings around him. Even though this was the ambassador to Europe, he says, "No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. This, that." I'll tell you. You know Q, don't you? I told you that. Q. And QAnon and 8chan. Look at that. Everything that's happening, basically, it's coming out, telling you what's coming up, and I reckon it's President Trump, and it's all in code, and then it happens, and then they go back and decipher it. Yeah. What was that?
That's there's a conversation going on.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Just to catch up, it's nothing to do with what we're doing, of course. Kevin's turning a 72 print page brochure into a PDF, and Kevin says he'd rather pull his teeth out with pliers. All right. Okay.
Fingernails.
Fingernails, yeah, or teeth, or whatever.
Then do what?
You mentioned pulling teeth out.
Yeah.
I was watching a video on what are we on? Facebook. That's the word I'm trying to find.
Yeah.
Only minutes before we went live, about a bloke who lived in a house that was all voice controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And how he went to the dentist, and of course he'd had the anaesthetic, and it was pouring with rain, and it wouldn't let him back in the house because his voice pattern didn't match. So he stood outside soaking wet. There was an advert for keys, by the way, for key locks, by the way, because the lady from next door came along and opened her door with the key.
Now, we've been talking about manifestos, and there's one proposal that's actually caught your eye, Peter.
Oh, what was that? Oh, yeah, the child care. One of the biggest problems, I'm a mature not, of course, but I feel sorry for the youngsters, the young couples, because we need to breed, we need to make kids, and unfortunately, some people are holding off and having kids because they just can't afford to have kids because of the child care and everything, and there's a lot of stress and things like that. So what they should do, and what they're looking at is, and the Liberals are doing it, and this is one good policy, they're giving free childcare, just like the Stasi done. The Stasi done that, because I've looked into that, and they honestly, they did. And
I'm not saying they didn't. I'm not saying they didn't.
They feature, and here's the funny thing, right? The little kids had to sit on the pots, and they all had to do a poo, and nobody was allowed to finish until the last one was done. And you'll find that in the Stasi Museum.
That could be a long time, Peter.
That is true.
Taking comments from Kevin, and Kevin is saying, are you going to mention International Men's Day?
Well, I didn't find out about International Men's Day till the day after it. So
did someone put in a complaint? Like,
no, we've got a day. I didn't know we had a day. Okay.
I'm surprised it wasn't cancelled because of complaints.
Right. Okay. No, we didn't. We have mentioned it. And Pete,
I don't understand why you can't turn that bloody thing off or turn the volume down.
I'm just glad his phone rings. That would make a change. Seems like Women's Day every day in our house. Okay, nice one, Paul. Yeah. Okay. Now, whilst Peter is actually on the phone, and we can talk about football. We'll not go there though. Broadband. Another manifesto proposal is to have universal access to broadband, starting with those who don't have anything at the moment, through to those who've got something reasonable. What we're actually after here, John, is having the same speed as you have throughout the country.
Well, they're not offering that. They're offering 50 meg minimum. Free.
All right. Okay.
And I've got 375.
And Peter's back.
And I'm told it'll be 512 before long. So.
Okay. How's your broadband, Peter? Sorry.
Not me.
You're back now.
Better.
I'm happy with broadband. If I could get it faster, great. And I don't know. Are we talking about this broadband by the government taking it over?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, free broadband.
Yeah, well, it's going to be BT, isn't it?
All I'm going to say is be careful what you wish for.
Bloody terrible. That's what BT stands for, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's only part of BT. It's Openreach that they're going to nationalise. They're going to nationalise to provide the infrastructure.
Well, it was nationalised once before.
No, but it's a different approach, because what they're saying now is like electricity, gas, and water. Broadband is actually a utility.
Yeah.
Which we couldn't live without. Yeah. Broadband and internet is so ingrained into our lives now that there needs to be we need to have the best of it, as they say.
I think it's a utility that we need in this modern society. And not everybody can get fast speeds, and it's a shame. But hey, before we get faster speeds here, what about the poor people in the country? You know,
In the poor people in the country, they're getting wonderful subsidised. Yeah.
I think
I've got
our
a
people,
client that lives in client friend because I've been working with him since 2002, and he's just 4 months ago he had broadband installed in his home in Western Subedge, which if you have a look is a tiny little village with a village hall and about 70 houses max. It's 300 down and 300 up, and for a amount of money that can turn into a terabyte in each direction.
yeah. But they need to.
A gigabyte, not a terabyte.
How long is it to get that?
Sorry?
How long is it
It
taking
costs
to get
less. It costs less than mine does a month.
Yeah, but I'm saying, how long is it taking them to get that into the area?
Well, they're doing it all over the place now because the government has created this huge fund, yeah, for rural broadband. And you if you start looking around, you'll find communities have set up their own business using the rural broadband fund.
Kevin, I'm sorry, but you got 30 seconds, but we're scared to say any more in case all different types of groups attack us.
Yeah, and we were late to the show as well. So we're talking about something that had happened. And coming from Kelly, it's fiber. Is it fiber internet? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fiber.
The rural stuff coming is fiber to the router.
Yeah.
The router actually has fiber going into it.
So,
whereas what I've got is DOCSIS 3, which is fiber to what's called a COFOT, which is a coaxial to fiber converter, and I've got coaxial into the back of my router.
Tell me the big difference it's going to make to me sitting in front of this computer.
The big difference, fiber to the thing, that means you'll probably end up with 10 gigabits at some time in the future without changing your hardware.
You could download a movie from Netflix in seconds, Peter.
Okay. And does it mean you won't have hardware anymore? You'll be using the cloud?
No, you still have a router, John.
Well, I mean, today you can rent a PC in the cloud for peanut money. So, you know, you've got the power of a much more powerful PC than the PC you're using, if you like, because your PC you're using is only really acting as the screen.
Yeah.
And that's getting more and more common as days go by, Peter. So.
Okay. I used to play games, and I've shut everything down. I only use this for news now. I sit on my iPad most of the time. Yeah.
Well, I have my pad next to whichever of whether I'm working on my development machine or my laptop, which is sat in front of the development machine. I have my pad. It's not an iPad. It's a superior Android pad sat next to it, so I can run iPlayer on that while I work. So,
yeah. Comment from Kelly, from Paul. Sorry, and Paul is saying some good deals on Creative Cloud tomorrow. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. It's nearly Black Friday, and now Black Friday starts a week before Black Friday. So
yeah, I can't get over that.
Is it really Black Friday? The Friday before Black Friday is now as busy as Black Friday itself. Has anything happened on Twitter this week that you're aware of?
I think are they banning political things, adverts?
Well, they're banning political adverts as opposed to Facebook. Google are doing the same.
Do you mean that a certain political party rebranded themselves?
Right. We had the first political debate between Johnson and Corbyn earlier this week, and just as the broadcast was starting, one of the Conservative Party's Twitter accounts was renamed And John, do you want to take up the story?
Well, I don't know a great deal about it,
All
other
right,
than
okay.
they changed it to make it look like it was a UK fact check.
It was made to. It was a well-established Twitter account. It was made to be a fact checker, and basically, because a lot of people actually follow the election broadcast on Twitter with the hashtag, it was in a position over the course of an hour to rubbish everything that was said by our Labour would-be Prime Minister.
And was the fact true or false?
What they were saying was false.
And was it false that there was false?
Well, they were pretending to be the fact checker, and so they were
They wouldn't have said the fact and put it false if it wasn't false, would they?
Yeah. No, but they did. They used propaganda against whatever Corbyn said. They were quite blatant about it. They were gainsaying everything that Corbyn said, and it was said fact checker on every tweet that was sent out, and it's the level that politics has gone down to, where they can pretend to be somebody else. Twitter the day after said, "You shouldn't do that. We're not going to take any action."
The Liberals put out something, and it said, and there was a wee bit underneath with a star, and it said, the Liberals would be winning by this amount against this if the ones under here didn't vote, or something similar to that. So they've all played it. They've all played the game.
But this was much more blatant than that. It didn't say this is a branch of the Conservative Party. It said it was the UK fact checker,
which many people rely on to actually sort of tell us whether somebody's promises are actually going to ring true.
Well, that was a Liberal.
I mean, I used the fact checker this morning to see whether the Liberal Democrats, and you love this, Peter. This is a fact. It was written in the news. It must be. And will there be a £50 billion Remain bonus from revoking Brexit? Now, that has been fact checked. Yeah. And it's said to be a Conservative figure.
Hang on. Choose your words more wisely.
Well, that can be read two ways. But in actual fact, it has been fact checked and it's true.
They get 50 billion back, did you say?
We're 50 billion better off. By 2025, our economy will be growing at 2.3%.
Yeah. And for that, Mrs. Jones, your kid will be joining the European Army, because in 2 years, and they say, but you said no. Yeah, but all that money back, we're doing it now just to please the Europeans. And
all right,
get them fit, because they're going away to fight some foreign land in behalf of Europe. Because NATO's not anymore.
I'm going over to Kevin, the voice of reason. If broadband is a utility, then it should still be charged for. We have to pay for electricity and gas. Where my dad lives, there's a private estate. 3 out of 4 on this estate don't have broadband and don't want it. It's a way of the government monitoring what we do.
You are going to pay for it.
And I'm not saying it's compulsory. It's not compulsory.
No. You either have it piped into your house or you don't. Okay, well, incredibly, we've come to the top of the hour, and it's over to John.
Sorry, I could
with his story of the week.
See you. Story of the week. Well,
you've not got one.
I'm thinking about broadband. Kelvin, our friend in Cambridge, he's been complaining about how they're ruining the footpaths on his estate. But he's going to get amazingly cheap broadband from that. So kind of calm down a bit on jumping up and down about what they're doing to his streets.
All right.
It's the hour. I guess it's time to say goodbye. Yeah. But don't forget to see myself and Stephen later on at 4 o'clock UK time, 11 o'clock Eastern. We'll be talking about in video. And so it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Mr. Scotland. And it's goodbye from Stephen in Wiltshire. And don't forget live training next week, every day.
Was it next week?
Yeah. Monday to Friday. And it'll be live. And it's on YouTube instead of Facebook.
Thank you, John.
Bye.
I'll just say one thing before I go. Be kind to one another, even commies. Goodbye.
It's a wrap. Thanks for watching, everybody. Kelly and Kevin and Paul. Thanks for joining us live. Bye.